Good morning, Community Life Church. It's really an honor to be with you this morning via video. Your pastor is an absolute hero of mine. I've known him most of my life, and he actually married my wife and I, and he's just a total rock star. So, you know, it's a privilege to be here. My name is Dennis, and I'm a cookbook author and a chef and a food photographer and a food writer. But that's kind of a really new phase in my life. For the majority of my working life, I was a full-time musician, and I was on the road. I spent my time in 15-passenger vans, traveling all across this country and into the United States. And I loved every second of it. And my wife and I were in Nashville, and we moved there actually, and we lived there for about 2 years, trying to it was our like last ditch effort, you know, to make a go at it in the music industry. And we were sleeping on air mattresses, you know, thankfully we had 3 meals a day that were provided to us, and but we kind of got to this place where we thought maybe our time is done, and we felt this leading in our lives like we were supposed to move back to New Brunswick. And you know, though we were excited to be you know, closer to home and where we grew up and where our family is, we felt this tension, and I felt this tension. I had played music for so long, and I didn't know where that creative outlet was going to lie, where that new passion was going to come from. And about 2 months before we came home, because I was a musician, I wasn't eating well. I was eating off the dollar menu or pasta with butter on it. I really couldn't cook. And at a suggestion of a friend, I went to the Nashville Public Library and I borrowed 3 cookbooks. And I'd never cooked before in my life, you know, not really. I really had no idea what I was doing, but I just wanted to make some meals that were healthy and approachable and something I could feel proud of. But more than that, I just needed to feel better, honestly. I was eating very poorly. I didn't feel very good. So I went to the library and I took out 3 cookbooks and I started working my way through them. And I became absolutely obsessed with everything about food and food culture, and learning new recipes and learning how to cook new techniques. And I was cooking so much and cooking for the other studio guys and the other guys in the band while we were still in Nashville, that I started documenting all of the recipes with my iPhone, just taking some photos of them. And, you know, zero kind of agenda aside from eating some nice meals with some friends and family. But I fell in love with food, and I fell in love with the communal aspect of sitting down at a table with somebody else and sharing that meal, sharing that moment, and sharing just that experience of really kind of investing yourself in your community, and which I didn't appreciate until then. We always kind of ate from one point to another. We ate as quickly as possible, and we didn't take that time to really kind of rest in the presence of other people and grow those relationships closer. So it was an incredible time. But then I moved home to Moncton, and I kind of didn't know, you know, what this whole thing was going to turn into. And this thing called Instagram happened, and I started an account, started posting some photos, and you know, I kind of developed a following along the way, and that has kind of led over the past few years to me working full-time in the food industry, doing recipe development initially and photography, but then now I've been very fortunate to write this book and develop my own brand. The amazing thing as I look back on this time in my life is not that I'm able to you know, do this as a career, although that's an incredible thing, and not the experiences I've had, like traveling all over the world now cooking and everything, but what I'm struck with consistently and all the time is how amazing it is that that though we don't necessarily know what our future holds, and though we don't necessarily appreciate the fullness of our story and what it will become, that God has already been in our future. God already knows our future. And we can totally trust in Him that He is in control. And His plan is better than our plan. It's so much better than something we could come up with on our own. We just need to trust in Him. We need to trust in His leading, and we need to continue to work, you know, and live out those passions. And it's been very amazing to watch that unfold and know that, you know, yeah, I work hard, and yeah, you know, I do all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not me that's in control of any of this. It's not me that's opening these doors and having these opportunities open for me. It's really Him that is that is controlling that and allowing these opportunities to happen. And I don't take that lightly, and I want to fully run after the things that he would have me run after. There is opportunity there, and I'm also not a young guy. I mean, I'm young is relative, but to start a new career after already having worked for 10 or 15 years is an amazing thing, and it's just very cool that, and honestly very humbling when you think of all the opportunities that God has in store for you. And it's been an honor to kind of tell you a little bit of my story today, and I really appreciate you allowing me to be there. Give Pastor Carl a high five for me, and a hug maybe if you're open to it. And I'd love to visit you at some point today. But definitely, if you have that dream, if you have that creative vision, whatever that is, if you want to be a teacher or a doctor or a mechanic or a chef or a musician or a pastor or whatever it is, it's never too late. You're never too old. There's always opportunity there. Run after those passions, prayerfully seek God's will for your life, and he will open those doors for you. All right, thanks so much. Enjoy your Sunday.